A 36-year-old woman, recently got engaged and shared the news with my father and stepmother, both in their late 50s, who have been together since I was 33 years now. My childhood was chaotic, with huge gaps in my memory that I can't fully piece together. I used to think my memory loss was due to taking antihistamines for severe allergies as a kid, but now I suspect it's tied to trauma. Vague, unsettling memories would surface occasionally, but I had no clear timeline of my early years. My biological mother was married multiple times, and we moved constantly. She had several more children, and my life with her was a whirlwind of instability, alcoholism, drug issues, and upheaval. Certain moments stand out, like a stepfather threatening my mother with a weapon or the birth of my younger sister. I also recall frantic moves where we were told to toss belongings into trash bags and flee. Despite the chaos, I was deeply attached to my mother, acting as her confidant through the turmoil. She passed away from cancer 2 years ago, and I loved her fiercely despite everything. Through it all, I viewed my father as a steady figure. About a year ago, while sitting around a fire pit with him and my stepmother, sharing drinks and candid conversation, he revealed something startling. I had lived with them for 5 years as a child. This shocked me. I thought it was only a few months. He was visibly upset that I didn't remember, and during that talk, my stepmother admitted to being unkind to me as a kid. I brushed it off, saying it was in the past, and she insisted her behavior had been harsh. I reassured her we were fine now, thinking it was resolved. Then, 2 days ago, I shared my engagement news with them. My fiancé proposed in a beautiful moment, and I've never felt safer in a relationship, though trust is hard one for me. But their reaction crushed me. My father made a snide remark about me racing my half-sister, their daughter, who's also nearing marriage, to get engaged first. I was stunned. My sister and I aren't competitive and always support each other. Then my stepmother questioned the wedding details and immediately declared she wouldn't attend, citing excuses while implying my father could go alone. Knowing he never travels without her, I panicked that he'd miss my wedding. Their comments piled up, leaving me shaken and craving a drink despite being sober for over a year. I stayed polite, left quickly, and processed the hurt alone. My relationship with my stepmother has always been tense. She's intimidating, controlling, and domineering, and even now, as an adult, I fear her. To avoid her sharp, passive-aggressive remarks, I've always been overly kind, smiling through discomfort. But after this incident, memories flooded back, vivid, painful recollections of being 7, 10, 12, living in constant dread in their home. My stepmother was a cruel bully, tormenting me with name-calling, blame, and quiet threats when my father wasn't looking. She dictated everything, even how I slept, forcing me to face my sister despite physical discomfort and berating me if I shifted positions. She sabotaged my bond with my father, ensuring we were never alone. The abuse was relentless, taunts, cornering me until I was so scared I had accidents, and forcing me to hide her cruelty. My younger sister, only 7, tried to protect me, and neighbors offered their home as a refuge, promising not to tell her about my missteps. When I finally left to live with my mother, they erased me, removing my photos and talking about fostering another child, as if I'd never existed. Life with my mother was chaotic in its own way, so I think I buried these memories to cope. Now with them resurfacing, I'm consumed by anger at my stepmother's cruelty and my father's inaction. I feel abandoned, betrayed. How could I forget this? How did it stay hidden? In a moment of courage, I sent them a text confronting it, my hands trembling. They didn't reply. Complicating things, they've made efforts recently, moving to my state, seeking a closer bond. My stepmother apologized that night by the fire pit, and I know my father loves me in his own way. But I doubt I'll get the accountability I crave. My sister asked what I hope to gain by confronting them. What am I fighting for? I'm unsure. I didn't expect this deluge of memories and feel lost. Part of me feels guilty, like I'll ruin the family by speaking out, but I'm also furious and want them to acknowledge the truth. I want to ask my father what he knew and demand my stepmother own her actions. Yet I anticipate him dismissing me as dramatic, and I'm not sure I can suppress this pain again. Do I pursue accountability or maintain a shallow relationship for the sake of family? I feel selfish for dwelling on this. Will confronting them bring closure or just deepen my anger? Can we even salvage a relationship? A commenter asked, why, after they've tried to rebuild, did my stepmother react so coldly to my engagement, implying competition with my sister and refusing to attend? It feels like the same old cruelty, and it's why I doubt their change. Her refusal wasn't necessary. She chose to hurt me. This perspective validates my confusion and makes me feel less irrational. I didn't expect this post to gain traction. It was meant as a quiet vent. Now I'm anxious about my parents seeing it and feel tempted to delete it, but my fiancé urges me to keep it up. I don't want to hurt them, even in my anger. Just want honesty without minimization. I'm starting EMDR therapy soon with referrals lined up and will proceed cautiously, avoiding drastic moves. My fiancé's support and my sobriety have created a safe space for these feelings to emerge, which is new and overwhelming. He's been incredible, reading responses with me and offering insight. Some question the validity of repressed memories, but these feel undeniably real, vivid with details of settings, voices, and emotions. It's like a puzzle snapping into place, an unwanted but certain truth. Thanks to those sharing their own struggles, it's isolating, but there's comfort in knowing others are navigating pain too. Update 3 months later. I'm grateful for the support and advice. I followed through and found an amazing therapist who's empathetic and focused. I also joined a support group for adult children of alcoholics, which has been grounding. For a while I withdrew, and my sister chose not to discuss this, so we're distant. My father and I didn't speak for nearly 3 months. He'd text to meet but cancel. I've avoided my stepmother entirely. My fiancé and I have grown closer, and we're in couples therapy to protect our trust as we approach marriage. Emotionally, I've struggled. This has upended my understanding of my past, which is painful but clarifying. It's helped me understand myself better, even if the truth hurts. On Saturday, I finally spoke with my father. As many predicted, it was disheartening. He refused to discuss the past, then blamed me, saying I caused most of the conflict. He claimed I rebelled against my stepmother, citing a memory of me at age 4 saying, "You're not my mom." I don't recall this and was shocked he'd hold a toddler's words against me. He even said he wished he'd walked away like his own father did, starting a new family, implying it would have been better for everyone. He compared me to my mother, accusing me of stirring drama. The call was filled with denial, blame, and hostility. I stopped defending myself and fell silent. Oddly, his reaction validated me. I expected this response, which confirms why I never confronted them before. There was no space for my truth. His wish to have abandoned me stung, but it clarified my role as the scapegoat. It's frustrating because I was a compliant child, rarely defiant. I'm leaning towards stepping back from them entirely, a choice I never imagined but now feels necessary for my peace. I'll keep focusing on therapy, healing, and building trust. Thanks for the support. Next story. My mother wants to invite my ex-girlfriend, whom I betrayed repeatedly, to my wedding, calling her family. When I refused, she threatened not to attend. I'm a 28-year-old man who was awful in my past but have since changed. I drank heavily and cheated on my ex, 27, countless times during our 3-year relationship. She eventually left after discovering another betrayal, and I don't fault her. My family cut me off, which devastated me, but I got into therapy, rebuilt myself, and reconciled with them. I learned my mother and ex stayed close, which I accepted since they bonded during my relationship. My family includes my ex in gatherings because her own family is dysfunctional, and I'm fine with it. We're civil but distant. I met my fiancée, 28, a year ago, and we're now engaged. She knows my past, and we're planning a small wedding for close friends and family. The issue arose when my mother insisted on inviting my ex, calling it a family event. My fiancée was livid, and I don't want my ex there either. I spoke to my ex, who confirmed she doesn't want to attend but feels pressured by my mother. My mother doubled down, saying she won't come if my ex isn't invited, sparking arguments with my fiancé. I'm considering not inviting my mother, but fear being estranged from my family again. It's maddening. Update 1. Thanks for the overwhelming feedback. I confronted my mother with my fiancé present, but she wouldn't budge, admitting she dislikes my fiancé, who snapped back. My mother's now uninvited. I informed all guests about her push to include my ex, and most supported me. Those who called me ungrateful were uninvited and blocked. My brother, 34, backed my decision, which was reassuring. I'm planning to go low contact with my mother. My ex called and on speaker with my fiancé apologized, saying she refused my mother's invites. She's not invited. My father said he won't attend without my mother, which makes sense. The wedding's now smaller with 50 guests, but the reception, hosted by my father and father-in-law, will have 150 people, including my mother, so drama's possible. I'll have security at the wedding. Update 2. I discussed the situation with my fiancé and father-in-law, who will now cover the reception costs alone. I offered to contribute, but he declined, calling me like a son, which moved me. My father and father-in-law argued over the phone, so my parents won't attend the reception either. My fiancé and I are relieved for a drama-free event. We'll have security, but explaining this to guests may cause some to back out. I haven't spoken to my parents and will reach out to my father post-wedding. I broke down crying over their absence, but my fiancé was my rock. Also, I failed my PhD exam but will try again later. I'll likely go low contact with my father and no contact with my mother. Update 3. I got married yesterday, the best day of my life. It hurt that my parents didn't attend the wedding or reception, and I cried afterward, but my fiancé was amazing, supporting me through it. My ex sent a congratulatory text, which I acknowledged with a brief thanks. My father sent an air fryer as a wedding gift, and I'll use it but won't respond. The reception was fantastic, thanks to your advice and support. I once felt unworthy due to my past, but I've learned people can change. Don't let past mistakes define you, keep growing. Comments where Op replied. Comment 1, congrats on your wedding, why reply to your ex's text? Why isn't she blocked? Op, it was just to acknowledge her message due to my mother's pressure. I'll delete her number and won't contact her again. Comment 2, return the air fryer. Don't use it or respond, it's a cheap attempt at reconciliation. Op, it's a petty gesture but I'll keep and use it without replying. I don't own one so it's practical. Comment 3, has your ex considered distancing herself from your mother? It's odd she'd stay close to someone pushing her into an uncomfortable situation that upset you and your fiancé, then threw a fit over it. Op, my brother mentioned my mother's upset because my ex isn't answering her calls anymore.